Good morning and welcome to Mrs. Bell's Sweet Treats and More. Today is Monday and this is Monday Moments. Many of us have been in the home over the last few weeks, and I thought about some fun recipes that I had seen many years ago. And I'm dating myself here, but back in the 70s, I think it was the 70s, Domino's Sugar had a recipe called 1001 Cookie Recipe. And I hadn't really found all the recipes that I used to use years ago, so I went back and Googled it. Thank goodness for Google and search engines. And I found of the 1001, I only found a few of those. But the favorite, what I liked about this recipe was that you could make one base recipe and freeze it and use it over the next 6 months, just taking from that and using those ingredients and then adding other ingredients to make a different type of cookie. Today we're going to be making just regular chocolate chip cookie, and I'm going to also be making some others, and you'll be able to click on the link. The recipe is below. Domino's Sugar had the original recipe that I had, but I think it's C&H and other cookie recipes also have it. So it may be a different sugar name, but the recipe is wonderful. You can make chocolate chip cookies, you can make oatmeal, you can make lemon cookies, you can make thumbprint cookies. And I thought this would be a wonderful recipe for those who are at home and they may have children that like this but don't like that. You can also make regular sugar cookies, and you can take the sugar cookies and add lemon to it, lemon zest and lemon flavor, and make lemon cookies. So it's one of those recipes that's not really complicated. So I'm just going to get started. I already measured out my flour, and of course the recipe you will see below. I measured out my flour and sugar. I also added baking powder and salt. And so we're going to just get going. I have my pastry cutter-ish, and I have my butter. So I'm just gonna put my butter in here. And this is where the work comes in for this. So this is a simple recipe, but you can also use your fingers. I took my ring off in case I use my fingers. And of course I wash my hands. I don't know about you, but it's something about cooking and making cookies for someone. It just makes it more fun to me. Unless it's somebody that is critical of your cooking, then you may not find it as appealing. But while I have been cooking, as some of you have seen, I have made banana loaves, many banana loaves, and I call them banana hugs. And I send them to my family and different friends. And it's just a way for me, I can't be there with them, but I can send the food or send the banana. And they're just the mini loaves. So my biggest challenge has been to find flour and bananas. And when I could find bananas, they are often green, so I have to wait through that process. So I either sit them in the window or put them in a brown paper bag and put them under my cabinet for a few days, because the yellow bananas, the green bananas they don't have the sugar in them. They're just bitter. No, we don't want to use those. But the riper, more ripe, the yellow ones are good. But when they start turning a little brown, that's when the sugars are released. So that's usually takes time. So for those family members that are listening, just so you know, it's not that I haven't gotten to you deliberately. I've got to wait on the bananas. So I'm almost done. And I want you to see what this is looking like. We want it to look like kind of like coarse cornmeal or coarse meal, because we want butter in every part of it. So I'm going to keep going, and usually I do use my fingers. It's nothing wrong with you using your fingers if that's what you use. This has been a very, I want to say interesting. It's been difficult for many people because everybody doesn't have an income coming in consistently. And some people are actually dealing with the illness, or relatives or loved ones, or being away from them, or struggling. And some people are still working sick. No judgment, no judgment. All of us are in our own situation, working through our process. And I just want to encourage you, nobody knows your story better than you. And as you're going through the process, know that there are people that are, I often would say that are worse off than you, but that's not altogether what gets people through. Is know that there is going to be an end. So I'm continuing and continuing, and as you can see, it's looking more and more I'm going to put that aside for just a moment because I want to make sure all of that has been incorporated. I don't want to go to the bottom and find out I got a big chunk of flour down there. So this looks pretty good. I don't see any clumps and I don't see any white. I'm just going to give it a little bit more. This yields quite a bit of dough for cookies. The recipe, also, the link will also show that you can make brownies with this. Uh-oh, I kind of missed. So it's not limited to just a cookie, but it's a dough. You can put it in the freezer, and I like that because you don't have to go to do this basic part again. So that's that part. And then what we do is then we begin. Now I'm going to make chocolate chip first. So I'm going to take my bowl and I'm going to be using what I have here, my cookie starter. It's called the starter. Okay. And again, this is what it looks like after it's all been mixed. So then I take this one I'm going to do chocolate chips. So I take the chocolate chip recipe, and it's going to be in the link. It's going to include 4 cups of this, our cookie starter. And it's going to make about less than 3 dozen. And you can modify it, of course, to make less and use less of your dough. Not really dough, it's kind of starter. So it's 4 cups, and this is what it's looking like right now as I begin. So it's 4 cups, and then I'm going to add my vegetable shortening, and I'm going to do again, I'm adding vegetable shortening to this. The vegetable shortening with this for the cookie makes those crispy edges. Yeah. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about the people I'm going to be giving this to, and I'm thinking about the holidays. I like to cook, make cookies and things for the holiday. So. Your favorite cookie is. I like chocolate chip. I like the thumbprints with the jam in the middle. I like those a lot. And okay, I got my chocolate chips over there. Okay, and then I'm gonna add to this, I'm gonna add my brown sugar, because now I'm making a different cookie. So I'm going to add my brown sugar. And then I'm going to add my, I got my vanilla and my egg. And I'm going to stir this together. Now, I included my vanilla in here with my egg. I just like to mix those together so I don't lose so much of anything. And I'm just going to stir this together. And I had a little bit of, as I'm putting this together, I'm putting my added some extra liquid because I didn't have enough. So I'm stirring this together, and it smells more like vanilla than anything else, vanilla and butter. And I'm going to use my spoon here. And I may, if it's a little hard for you, I'm wearing my food. Somebody told me that's a sign of a good cook. I don't know, but I'm certainly wearing it. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. You may not need to, but mine's a little dry. So I just keep mixing, and it's starting to come together. I've seen this recipe. Some people make snickerdoodles. Some people, like I said, they add almond flavor and vanilla almond, and then make like an almond cookie and put an almond in it. Some use the jams to make the thumbprints. I also make the oatmeals with this. So this is our dough. And this is going to be for our chocolate chips. Now you can add about, I don't know, I usually just take a handful or so of chocolate chips. If you really, really like chocolate chips, you can certainly add as much as you want, as many as you want. And you can also add nuts or not. This is it's 1,001, so you can make it 1,002, making it your way. So my cookie dough is here, and I'm going to bring my pan over. Now what I'm going to do now is add my chocolate chips. I have open bags because I make chocolate chips. I use the larger ones and the smaller ones. So the recipe calls for about a cup, a little less than 2 cups but I don't tend to like too much chocolate chips, so I've added about 3/4 of a cup. You can certainly add more, as I said, but so this is what our chocolate chips of the 1001. And I know that we have, got my spatula. You can use a spoon. I got a curly edge on my spatula, and I'm just gonna drop it onto my cookie sheet. You can make them in more of a uniform fashion. I just want them on there. I like more of a drop cookie. And then smash them a little bit, smush them. I'm not into, I don't usually make a lot of uniform with this recipe. You can actually make it more uniform. But for right now, I'm just gonna put them on here and then smush them. So again, it makes about 2.5 dozen cookies. So that's about 30-ish, 24 is 2. And so it may be about 30. You can make less, you can make them larger, you can make them smaller. You can add nuts. For these right now, I'm not adding nuts, but the other dozen I will. So I'm gonna keep doing this until these are all done. And then we're gonna pop them in the oven for about 15 minutes or so. But again, you need to check your oven. So we will keep working on this, and I'll see you back in a little bit. Well, we're back, and as you can see with my apron, I usually wear my food. I've taken the cookies out of the oven, and I cut a piece of it. So here are the cookies. I usually I've eaten thicker cookies. Only took about 10 to 12 minutes to cook. This is Domino's Sugar 1001 cookie recipe. I hope you try it, because you get to make this dough, the mixture, but you don't have to be stuck with just one cookie. You can make chocolate chip, you can make oatmeal. I included the link so you can make what you want, which one you want. I made chocolate chip, and I'm gonna make some oatmeal for the next link, using the same recipe, just to show you that the recipe is very versatile. Again, you can use it to make thumbprints. Thumbprints are the cookies that are crispy, and in the middle is that jam, whichever flavor you like. And you can make brownies with it. It's so many things you can make with it. And for those of you with children at home, or someone at home that doesn't like just one thing, this dough you can take, and it can last up to 6 months in the freezer. So you take a little bit of that, and then you take the other ingredients that are needed for whatever cookie you want, and you got it. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Mrs. Bell's Sweet Treats and More. Together, I know we can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Enjoy your day. Be encouraged. We will get through this. If you can get through the house with the children, if you can go through all the challenges you've already gone through, surely you can get through this. You have a good one. Enjoy your cookies, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.